Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 47 in the book of John. We're in John chapter 6 today. Turn there. Recently, we've had the big example of the feeding of the 5,000. And today, we're going to head towards what work does God require? Because he does require work, but at what? That's the critical question. So let's just go back just a little bit. We were just recently in the dark and stormy night of the disciples on a boat in the Sea of Galilee, and Jesus walked on water. And they were utterly astounded because the lesson that he said that they needed to remember was the lesson from the day before, which was the feeding of the 5,000. They didn't understand about the loaves. They didn't understand about the Lord intervening. And they forgot their superpower, that Jesus was with them. So when they were on the boat, they were supposed to remember a lesson from the day before. It was supposed to be in their spiritual bank accounts that they were able to draw on it when they needed it, which they didn't. So they got the math of the situation correct, but they didn't get the Lord of the situation, the master of the situation correct. Now again, today is going to reinforce, or maybe tomorrow actually, that he's the bread of life. So we're going to go back to this theme about bread, but he's going to proclaim himself as the right answer, as the bread. All right, so let's read from John chapter 6, verse 22. On the next day, the crowd that remained on the other side of the sea, where the loaves happened, there had been only one boat there, and that Jesus had not entered the boat with his disciples, but that his disciples had gone away alone. Other boats from Tiberias came near the place where they had eaten their bread after the Lord had given thanks. So when the crowd saw that Jesus was not there, nor his disciples, they themselves got into the boats and went to Capernaum, seeking Jesus. When they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, "Rabbi, when did you come here?" Now, a better question, pause here, a better question would have been, how did you come here? Did you walk on water? So now he's going to talk about spiritual work, and that's what the big theme of today is. How much spiritual work do I need to do, and what do I need to do to be a part of your kingdom? What are the minimum requirements? So people, we lean into duty, we lean into doing, into actions, we lean into circumstantial, how does this affect me? And that's exactly what happens here. Verse 26, 6:26. Jesus answered them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, you are seeking me not because you saw signs, but because you ate your fill of the loaves. Do not work for the food that perishes, but for the food that endures to eternal life, which the Son of Man will give you. For on him God the Father has set his seal." Then they said to him, "What must we do to be doing the works," plural, "of God?" Jesus answered them, "This is the work," singular, "of God, that you believe in him whom he has sent." Let me say that again. This is the work of God, verse 29. This is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he has sent. So the people, this addresses what might be called cultural Christians. So, hey, this worldview is working for me. My belly is fuller than it was before these activities and actions, and I'm going to stick with it. So Jesus upends this, as he often does, and he says, here is the work that I require. It is the work of belief. So not tithes and not kindness and not number of prayers. And though for a truly believing Christian, all those things are going to follow. But that's not what this is about. This is about the job number one, first job, primary job, which is belief or faith. So a Christian's main work takes place between your ears, or at least within the borders of your soul. So wherever that critical organ is anatomically located in your body, this is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he has sent. So during belief, a couple things. Number one, God is at work. So let's not forget God's sovereignty and the wind blowing of his spirit. John 3:8 says it so beautifully. The wind blows where it wishes, and you hear its sound, but you do not where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone who is born of the Spirit. So if you have believed, and you're a believer here listening to this, you must say that you had a wind of help at your back. that you had the wind of the helper at your back. So that's number one, God's at work. Number two is you must be at work. So likely it's going to require some spiritual work, some spiritual effort to get to belief. You have to be, the third point now is you have to be working at the right thing. So the Lord wants you to start with a relationship with him, not the behaviors of a relationship with him. He wants your holy behavior and your changed life, but first he wants your faith. He wants your belief. So this reminds me of the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman that we just loved talking about a week or so ago. And that is, the Lord wants worshipers and true worshipers, those who worship in the spirit and truth. And the sad thing about it is billions, with a B, billions of people have gotten this wrong. And the Lord is saying, hey, don't be one of them. Acts chapter 4, verse 12 says, and there is salvation in no one else, for there is no other name there is no other name under heaven given among men by which we must be saved. So he wants the right object of belief, which is Jesus, sent by the Father, now indwelling in our spirits. So we have to have the right action of belief, and it's with our heads or our souls, not with our hands. So in conclusion, I think it's appropriate to say, hey, let's check the action of your belief. If it's with your hands and not with your soul, then stop. Go back to job one, primary thing, which is belief. The work of God is to believe, singular. It's the one thing he wants. So the work of God is to believe, and to also do it rightly and biblically and dependently, and that, of course, will be humbly. So yes, there are many actions of the faith, but they all come after the number one job, and it's dependent upon the number one job of belief. So God expects us to work, but at what? What is the work of God? He tells us in this passage, the work of God is to believe. So believe today. Here's your assignment. This podcast is going to end in about 15 seconds, and I want you to say, if you believe it, I believe that. And if you cannot, I'm so glad that you're here. Come back tomorrow. Why? Because we're going to work at belief again tomorrow. Thanks for listening.